Imagine standing at the kitchen sink early in the morning, a clear glass resting in your hand as cool water pours from the tap. The sound is familiar, almost comforting. For your entire life, you've heard the same advice from doctors, parents, and health experts. Drink more water. Water is life. Water keeps your organs working, your skin healthy, your joints moving, and your mind sharp. And they were absolutely right. But here's the part of the story that almost nobody tells you. After the age of 60, the relationship between your body and water begins to change in ways that most people never realize. The water itself hasn't changed, your body has. The biological rules you've relied on for decades quietly shift beneath the surface. And if you continue treating hydration exactly the way you did at 35, you may unknowingly leave your body struggling to keep up. That afternoon exhaustion that seems to arrive out of nowhere. The heavy legs after a short walk. The moments when climbing one flight of stairs feels surprisingly difficult. These aren't always signs that you're simply getting old. Sometimes they're signs that your circulation is asking for help. Helping your blood vessels may not require expensive supplements, complicated exercise equipment, or miracle treatments advertised on television. Sometimes the biggest improvements begin with one of the simplest habits you perform every single day: drinking water. Or more specifically, changing what goes into that glass. Your kitchen may already contain ingredients capable of transforming an ordinary drink into something that actively supports healthier circulation, steadier energy, and better vascular function. These aren't magic cures, and they certainly aren't replacements for medical care. Instead, they're natural allies, small daily choices that work alongside your body's own repair systems. Think about your circulatory system for a moment. Imagine thousands of miles of tiny highways stretching throughout your body. Every heartbeat sends oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and immune cells racing through these highways to reach every organ and every muscle fiber. Your brain depends on them. Your heart depends on them. Even the tips of your fingers rely on healthy blood flow every second of every day. When you're young, these highways are remarkably flexible. Blood vessels expand easily when your muscles demand more oxygen. They contract when necessary. Their inner lining remains smooth, allowing blood to move with very little resistance. Your heart doesn't have to struggle because the roads are open, flexible, and efficient. Years of stress, inflammation, high blood pressure, processed foods, poor sleep, and simple wear and tear begin affecting the delicate inner lining of blood vessels. The elastic walls that once stretched effortlessly begin losing their flexibility. Gradually, almost silently, they stiffen. Most people never notice this process happening. It doesn't hurt. There are no warning lights, no dramatic symptoms. Instead, life simply becomes a little harder. Walking across the grocery store leaves you more tired than before. Your afternoon energy disappears. You need more time to recover after gardening. Even your memory can feel less sharp because your brain, like every other organ, depends heavily on healthy circulation. The heart notices these changes too. Picture trying to push water through a brand new garden hose compared to one that's old, stiff, and slightly narrowed. The pump must work much harder to move the same amount of water. Your heart faces the exact same challenge. It faithfully continues beating over 100,000 times every single day, pushing blood through vessels that have gradually become less cooperative. Over months and years, that extra effort adds up. This is why supporting circulation becomes increasingly important with age. And surprisingly, hydration plays a much larger role than most people realize. Many older adults actually become chronically dehydrated without knowing it. As we age, our sense of thirst becomes weaker. The body no longer sends strong signals telling us to drink. Kidneys also become less efficient at conserving water, making dehydration easier and more common. But hydration isn't simply about replacing water. It's also about replacing the minerals and natural compounds your circulatory system depends upon to function properly. That's where one remarkable drink enters the story. Coconut water. Not the sugary versions loaded with added flavors and sweeteners. Pure, unsweetened coconut water. At first glance, it seems almost too simple to matter. After all, it's just liquid from inside a coconut. Yet nature designed it with an impressive balance of electrolytes that closely resemble what the human body needs after losing fluids. This is one reason athletes have embraced coconut water for years, but its benefits extend far beyond exercise. One of its greatest strengths is potassium. Potassium is one of those nutrients that rarely receives much attention until something goes wrong. Yet it performs hundreds of essential jobs throughout the body, especially inside the cardiovascular system. Think of potassium as a quiet traffic controller. It helps muscles, including the heart muscle, contract properly. It assists nerves in sending signals. Perhaps most importantly, it helps balance the effects of sodium. Many modern diets contain far more sodium than potassium. That imbalance encourages blood vessels to tighten and retain excess fluid, forcing the heart to work harder. Potassium gently pushes the balance back in the opposite direction. It encourages blood vessel walls to relax. As those vessels become slightly more open, blood flows with less resistance. The heart doesn't have to generate as much pressure to move oxygen throughout the body. Even a small improvement in vessel relaxation can translate into noticeable differences over time. Some people describe feeling steadier during walks. Others notice fewer afternoon crashes. Many simply realize they're able to stay active a little longer before becoming tired. None of this happens overnight. That's important to understand. Natural nutrition rarely works like flipping a light switch. Instead, it's more like watering a garden. One day of watering accomplishes very little, but watering consistently for weeks transforms everything. The same principle applies here. Imagine beginning each morning with a small glass of unsweetened coconut water before breakfast. Not because it's trendy, not because someone online promised miraculous results, but because you're intentionally giving your circulatory system the minerals it uses every single day. It's a simple act of support, a conversation with your body that says, "I know you've worked hard for decades. Here's something to help." And perhaps that's the biggest lesson. Healthy aging isn't about searching endlessly for one miracle solution. It's about making hundreds of small decisions that gently push your biology in a healthier direction. One glass, one morning, one habit repeated often enough that your body begins responding. Because longevity isn't built in dramatic moments. It's built inside ordinary moments, repeated consistently. The glass of water sitting on your kitchen counter may seem insignificant, yet every single morning it represents a choice. You can simply drink it as you've always done, or you can begin transforming that ordinary ritual into one of the simplest investments you'll ever make in the health of your heart, your blood vessels, and your future independence. And as you'll discover next, coconut water is only the beginning. Some of the most fascinating natural drinks for circulation may already be sitting on grocery store shelves, quietly waiting to become part of your daily routine. If coconut water helps prepare your body for the day ahead, the next drink works while your body is doing something even more remarkable, repairing itself. Every night, as you drift into sleep, your body begins one of the most complex maintenance programs in nature. Cells repair damage, hormones rebalance, the brain clears away metabolic waste, muscles recover from the day's activity, and your cardiovascular system finally gets a chance to slow down after working tirelessly from sunrise to sunset. But this nightly repair process has one powerful enemy: chronic inflammation. Unlike the redness and swelling you notice after a cut or injury, chronic inflammation is much quieter. It's often called silent inflammation because you can't feel it directly. Yet over time, it can slowly damage the delicate inner lining of your arteries and blood vessels. Imagine striking the inside of a garden hose with sandpaper every single day. At first, nothing seems different. Months later, the smooth interior becomes rough. Water no longer flows as efficiently. Tiny imperfections begin affecting the entire system. Something similar can happen inside aging blood vessels. Years of inflammation gradually reduce their flexibility, making it more difficult for blood to travel efficiently. The heart must work harder, tissues receive less oxygen, and energy slowly begins to fade. This is where an unexpected nighttime companion enters the picture: Tart cherry concentrate mixed into a glass of water. Its deep ruby red color hints at something special happening inside the fruit. Tart cherries are naturally rich in anthocyanins and polyphenols, plant compounds known for their antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. These compounds help neutralize unstable molecules called free radicals before they can contribute to further damage inside the body. Think of antioxidants as tiny maintenance workers. Every day they patrol your body looking for areas affected by oxidative stress. While they can't erase decades of wear and tear, they can help reduce the ongoing damage that accelerates aging. Researchers have also become interested in tart cherries for another fascinating reason. They naturally contain small amounts of melatonin, the hormone closely associated with sleep. Sleep and circulation are deeply connected. Poor sleep increases stress hormones. Higher stress hormones contribute to inflammation. More inflammation affects blood vessel health. Poor circulation can then contribute to even worse sleep. It's a frustrating cycle. Supporting better sleep may indirectly support healthier blood vessels as well. Imagine ending your evening with a small glass of water mixed with tart cherry concentrate instead of reaching for another sugary dessert or late-night snack. You're not simply satisfying your taste buds, you're creating a calming ritual that encourages your body to shift from activity into restoration. Over weeks, these small routines often become more valuable than people expect. Because healthy aging isn't usually determined by what happens once a month. It's determined by what happens every morning and every evening. Now let's return to the beginning of the day. For millions of people, morning doesn't officially begin until the first cup of coffee. The smell alone feels comforting. The warmth, the familiar routine. Coffee certainly has benefits, and for many people, it can absolutely remain part of a healthy lifestyle. But there is another morning drink that deserves far more attention than it usually receives. Green tea. For thousands of years, green tea has been consumed across Asia, long before scientists understood why it seemed associated with better health. Today, modern research has revealed one of its greatest secrets. Green tea is exceptionally rich in compounds called catechins. These aren't ordinary antioxidants. Catechins appear to interact directly with the endothelium, the incredibly thin layer of cells lining every blood vessel in your body. The endothelium functions almost like the conductor of an orchestra. When it's healthy, blood vessels know exactly when to relax and when to tighten. When it becomes damaged through aging, smoking, diabetes, or chronic inflammation, that communication begins breaking down. One of the most important chemicals produced by a healthy endothelium is nitric oxide. Nitric oxide may sound complicated, but its job is surprisingly simple. It sends a message to blood vessel walls. Relax, open wider, allow blood to flow more freely. This tiny chemical messenger has enormous effects throughout the body. Better circulation means more oxygen reaching your muscles, more oxygen reaching your brain, less resistance for your heart to overcome, healthier blood pressure regulation. Green tea encourages this natural process. But here's a fascinating detail that many people overlook. Adding fresh lemon juice makes green tea even more effective. Vitamin C helps stabilize many of green tea's beneficial catechins, allowing your digestive system to absorb more of them before they're broken down. It's a beautiful example of nutritional teamwork. Neither ingredient changes dramatically on its own. Together, they become more powerful than either one individually. Nature often works through partnerships rather than isolated compounds. The same principle appears repeatedly in healthy eating. Colorful vegetables, mixed berries, nuts with fruit, herbs combined with healthy oils. The whole becomes greater than the individual parts. Next comes one of the most visually striking drinks on this list: hibiscus tea. The moment hot water touches dried hibiscus flowers, something extraordinary happens. The water transforms into a brilliant crimson color, almost like liquid ruby. That dramatic color isn't just beautiful, it's evidence of powerful plant pigments packed inside the flower. Several clinical studies have explored hibiscus tea for its ability to support healthy blood pressure. Some evidence suggests its natural compounds may work through mechanisms similar to those targeted by certain blood pressure medications, helping blood vessels relax and reducing unnecessary tension within the circulatory system. For many healthy adults, this can be beneficial, but this is also where caution becomes essential. Natural doesn't always mean harmless. If you're already taking medication for blood pressure, heart disease, or other cardiovascular conditions, adding hibiscus tea without discussing it with your healthcare provider could potentially lower blood pressure more than intended. That's why responsible health advice always includes balance. No food or drink should replace prescribed treatment. Instead, these nutritional choices should complement professional medical care, never compete with it. Finally, we arrive at perhaps the most impressive drink of all, the one that has captured the attention of athletes, researchers, and healthy aging experts alike. Beetroot water. At first glance, beets don't seem particularly exciting. They're earthy, messy. They stain almost everything they touch. Yet beneath that humble appearance lies one of nature's richest sources of dietary nitrates. For years, nitrates developed a bad reputation because people associated them with heavily processed meats. But plant-based nitrates tell an entirely different story. When you drink beetroot juice or dissolve beetroot powder into water, an amazing sequence begins. Friendly bacteria naturally living inside your mouth convert dietary nitrates into nitrites. After swallowing, your stomach and bloodstream complete the final step, transforming those nitrites into nitric oxide. Remember that powerful messenger? The same molecule green tea helps stimulate? Beetroot provides another pathway for producing it. The result can often be measured. Blood vessels widen, blood flow improves, muscles receive oxygen more efficiently. Even the heart may perform its work with slightly less effort. This is one reason many endurance athletes drink beetroot juice before competitions. They're not chasing a caffeine rush. They're helping oxygen travel more efficiently throughout the body. For someone over 60, the benefits may look very different. Instead of running a marathon faster, the reward might simply be climbing stairs without stopping halfway, walking farther with grandchildren, gardening for another 30 minutes before needing a break, feeling stronger during everyday life. Those seemingly ordinary improvements often matter far more than extraordinary athletic achievements. Because independence isn't built from dramatic moments. It's built from thousands of ordinary moments, performed comfortably. Standing up from a chair, carrying groceries, walking through the park, playing with family, traveling without constant fatigue. These are the moments people truly want to preserve. And they all depend in one way or another on healthy circulation. The most encouraging part of this entire conversation is that you don't have to adopt every suggestion tomorrow morning. In fact, you shouldn't feel pressured to. Healthy habits become lasting habits when they're introduced gradually. Perhaps you begin with green tea and lemon a few mornings each week. A few weeks later, you experiment with beetroot powder before your afternoon walk. Eventually, Tart cherry water becomes part of your evening routine. Small changes, repeated consistently. That's how lasting health is built. Aging isn't simply about losing abilities. More often, it's about learning what your body needs now that it didn't need decades ago. The greatest gift you can give yourself isn't chasing youth. It's supporting the remarkable body that has carried you through every chapter of your life. So the next time you fill a glass with water, pause for just a moment. Look at it differently. It's no longer just hydration. It's an opportunity, a chance to nourish your circulation, support your heart, protect your blood vessels, and quietly invest in the strength, independence, and vitality you'll want years from now. Because every healthy future begins with a decision made today. Sometimes that decision is as simple as what you choose to pour into your glass.